welcome again to Short Attention Span Politics. My name is JD. I'll be your host. And today we're going to take a break from the coronavirus hysteria and talk a little bit about what you're going to be, some of the things you're going to be hearing about during the election cycle after all this hysteria about coronavirus is over. In this edition, I want to talk about something you're definitely going to hear between now and November. It's called taxing the rich, or making the rich pay their fair share, or paying for their expensive programs by making the rich pay more. You probably have heard at least once, if you haven't, you certainly will, that back during the 50s and 60s, perhaps even before that, that the rich used to pay you'll hear anywhere from 90 to 95% of their income taxes, and America did just fine. Okay, so here are the facts. Yes, it's true that before the 60s, the tax rate for the rich was in the 90 percentile, but no rich person in those days really paid anywhere near that. Due to deductions and loopholes, the actual effective tax rate they paid was anywhere from 0% to 60%, with the average percent that the rich paid was 42%. So yeah, when you hear rich Hollywood and rich politicians and rich software moguls virtue signaling about how they'd like to pay a lot more in taxes than they currently do, they know that they're not going to pay anywhere near that. In fact, they could write a check to the IRS right now. If they wanted to pay more taxes, the IRS will take their money. They can give the IRS a check for any amount they want, and the IRS will take it. You don't see them doing that, though, do you? So you might be saying, hey, JD, why don't we just make them pay without deductions? Just take the money from them. Well, if you did that, let's say if you took 100% of their money, of their income, of their holdings, just took 100% of the top 1%'s total income and holdings, 100%, and gave that to the government. Well, the truth of the matter is you would only be able to run the government for 4 months. If you took 100% of everything the rich earned and their holdings, all of their income, you would only be able to run the government for 4 months. That's because the problem with our government is spending, not income. It's not that we're not taking in enough, it's that we're spending too much. Well, JD, we just want them to pay their fair share. Well, let's look at it. Do they pay their fair share? Here are the facts. People earning greater than $100,000 a year in income pay 95.2% of all income taxes. People who make greater than $200,000 a year pay 70% of all income taxes. And the top 1%, that's the group that you always hear about, they pay 20% of all income taxes to the government. That top 1%, by the way, also pays more than the bottom 95% of income earners pay in taxes in this country. Now, I'm not saying that it's unfair for the rich to pay more, but what I am trying to say is that it's pretty obvious that the rich do pay their fair share. Of course, now it depends on your definition of fair share. There are people out there, and they vote, who, no matter how much the rich pay, it's not enough. But I think that the data shows that they do, in fact, pay their fair share. A wise man once said that you can't raise up the poor by bringing down the rich. And it's very true. Did you ever get a job from a poor person? No, you haven't. But don't tell any of that to the Bernie Sanders supporters that you know, because they'll probably just call you names, get verbally abusive with you, and maybe even physically abusive with you. So that's it for this edition of Short Attention Span Politics. Again, if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel and make sure that you click on the bell so you can get notifications whenever I post a new video. Thanks a lot. Stay safe and wash your hands. Bye-bye.